Hello, we're going to make a video, and this video will demonstrate connecting to the ECE Teaching Lab Linux platform using X2Go software and starting the Cadence Virtuoso program using the North Carolina State University Cadence Design Kit. Okay, so we're going to click on the X2Go icon on the desktop here, and then we're going to, we get a couple screens pop up here that we can just get rid of. And then we'll get rid of this pulse audio. We're not going to use pulse audio. So I'll click on the black text for the ECE X2Go session for the X2Go software. I'm actually going to change my ID here. I want to go in with a different ID, different test ID. So ECE demo 1 and my password. And sometimes this can take a second, minute to connect depending what's happening on the network. Now, one thing to note is that I am connected using the Lehigh VPN because the ECE X2Go server is behind the Lehigh firewall. And again, we'll get rid of that pulse audio thing. And it's starting a connection. And interestingly, the connection does not just pop up here on the screen. I have to come down here and find this is it right here. It's coming up. And it's taking a few seconds to come up here for me. Okay, the very first time you log in, here's another little command thing you can close. Very first time you log in with the XFCE application, it will ask if you want to use one empty panel or the default config. I just click default config. Recommend you do the same. Once this is up, you can actually manipulate the screen, move it around. I'm going to actually drag the screen and make it, a little bit bigger to take over the window. And so a couple of quick things before we get started with the actual task at hand. You're going to need a terminal to proceed. So you have a terminal down here on the bottom. You can just click on that terminal if you want. Or if you come up to Applications, come down to System, and this is the terminal I recommend using. You can click on that terminal. Now the other thing you can do is if you do a left click on that terminal and drag it out here to the desktop and let it go, it'll create a terminal on the desktop. So the next time you log in, instead of going through the menus, if you want, you can click on the terminal on the desktop. So I'm going to actually just click on the let me click on this terminal just to, so it wants to know if you want to launch it, and yep, I want to launch it. Okay, so what we're going to do after that is I'm going to hold down the control and the shift and hit the plus key a couple of times to make this a little bit bigger. And let me blow that up. Okay, just to make it easier to read. Okay, now on the ECE X2Go machine itself, it really is pretty limited to what it can actually do. It can't run programs really. It's used really to direct graphics back to your local device quickly. So what we need to do is we need to go to one of the machines that can run the Virtuoso software. So let me open a web browser here. And you can find those machines if you go to the website Teaching Labs.cc.lehigh.edu. And if you click on computing and you come down here and click on ECE Teaching Lab Linux platform, it will list the machines that are available on the ECE Teaching Lab Linux platform. And we're using the Cadence IC616 package. And so any of these machines that are listed here in the green, and they have faculty member names, retired faculty member names are part of this list. Okay, we'll just choose Bolo since it's at the top, and I'll just close this browser. Okay, so we're going to go over and use Bolo to actually run the application. So what I'm going to do is I'll type SSH. That's the software that we're going to use. A -X that tunnels the graphics. -L, that means the next thing that I'm going to type is going to be my login ID, which is ECE demo 1, and then the machine name, bolle.cc.lehigh.edu, and then hit enter. First time going across, you're going to get this message. It wants to know if it can exchange the public half of an encryption key with you. And so we're going to type yes. That's required. Okay, and then type in the password. Again, this is the password you got sent for the information for the ECE Teaching Labs Linux platform. You may have changed the password, and then it's the password you set. So I'll go ahead and type my password. I think I typed the wrong password here. Let me try that again. See if that works. Okay, got the right password. Now my particular ID, this is a fresh ID I set up. If I type ls, you're going to see that I've got the standard desktop directories you would get. You'll notice there's a directory called scripts. Inside the scripts directory, and let's see what's inside the scripts directory. There's a script inside the scripts directory that's an environmental script, and so what this environmental script will do is it will set the environment up so that the Virtuoso program can run. In order to do that, we need to source that file. So the way we would source it is we would type the word source space scripts, and then we would type the name of the script, and that's the IC616-64-bit-ver01.scr, and then we'll hit enter. And you'll see that a whole bunch of messages came up out of that, and what those are just messages I would use to troubleshoot if for some reason things weren't working with the Virtuoso program. Okay, now if I do the ls, you can see the directories again. So what we want to do is we want to do a change directory into CMOS edu, and you do that by typing cd space CMOS edu, enter. And then what we would do now is we'll run the Virtuoso program, and let me slide this up just a little bit so that I don't have that application bar over top. So what I would do here is I would type Virtuoso ampersand and enter. And Cadence is starting. And if it comes up and you see these component libraries inside this library section here, you have successfully started the Cadence Virtuoso program with the North Carolina State University Cadence Design Kit. Okay, and from here, your professor will give you some guidance on how to set things up and get this working. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. It's always good to close when you're done gracefully. That way things are saved and things don't get hung. So I'm going to hit exit and exit out of the Virtuoso. And I'll type exit to get out of the actually I exited out of the Bola machine and back to the X2Go machine here. And I'll just close this terminal session. I'll hit ECE demo and I'll go ahead and log out and hit the log out button. Okay, and that's all there is. And thank you for listening. I hope this was helpful.